Welcome, everyone, to Season 4, Episode 4 of the Cosmere Reads. Woo.
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 Hooray.
And there's much rejoicing.
Yeah. And there was much rejoicing.
Yeah. Quick announcements.
And they ate Sir Robin's minstrels.
Yes.
And there was much rejoicing.
Yay. Let's see. Quick announcement. We are doing currently a giveaway on the Twitters. So our X's.
The X's?
The X's, whatever you want to call it. Whatever. I'm refusing to call it X. It's Twitter. Anyways, it's dumb. But anyway, so we're giving away a book. There. So if you follow the Cosmere Reads, go check it out. It's there. Enter to win. Just in time for I guess the new book came out. The new Cosmere book came out. The audiobook releases on the 10th, but I think the hardcover already came out for the actual copy.
Wait, is this the one that came out last fall or
no? There's one that came out this week.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Secret Project number 5.
Okay, but didn't one just come out like last fall or winter, basically?
Think about Brandon Sanderson. He writes books faster than we can do a book.
Yeah, that's insane. This guy.
Yeah.
It's like he likes writing or something.
Something like that. Yeah, so the Isles of M. Dark. So yeah. The new Cosmere novel. So I have no idea.
Part of
really
Stormlight or not? Part of Stormlight.
No, it's a standalone, like Tress. It's one of the secret project books.
Okay.
So.
Oh, that's the advertisement I was getting on Audible. It said something was coming out.
The Isles of M. Dark. Yeah.
I didn't pay attention to it because I was like, I didn't see it in my list of things to read, so I wasn't gonna try to spoil it. But like trying to look at the No, this says it's White Sand.
No, White Sand's been out for a while. We're gonna do that eventually.
The advertisement I got is for White Sand. Yeah. It came up today when I was reading my book.
We will do that one eventually. Where is that on our list? Hold on, I can tell you where it's on our list of stuff.
Oh shoot, I can tell
you. White Sand.
It's weird when it zooms out.
Where is White? Oh yeah, we don't do that for a while. Yeah, we don't do it for a while.
Oh yeah,
it'll be over a year before, well over a year before we get there.
You say that it's going to time's going to catch up to us before you know it. And it's going to be here,
Yeah, I know. It'll catch up eventually.
I can't believe how much we've actually gotten through. It's insane how much we've gotten through. We've gotten through, Mistborn. We've gotten through Elantris. We've gotten through Way of Kings. Now we're in Tress. We've gotten through some things.
We have.
Crushing it.
How's everyone doing? How's Canada? How are things up north?
Canada's good. It's nice and toasty warm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Let's talk relative. What's toasty warm?
Yeah.
30s, mid 30s.
Oh wow. So 30s.
Whatever that means, 80s. High 70s at least.
Yeah. Well, that's 80s. That's deep 80s, isn't it?
Toasty.
Yeah.
We've been doing lots of work in the garage because we're moving, so that's where a lot of my stuff is stored. My grandparents' stuff is stored. So we've been in there going through boxes as much as we can before the heat tries to kill us. Then we have to go inside, and then we're working on stuff in the basement, and then cool off, and then back in the garage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wishing we had a pool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. On a whim, I decided to redo my whole patio. So all last week I spent digging up my pavers, and I'm about 70-80% done pulling up all the pavers. So it's hot. So it's a lot of work. It's more just takes time to stack them all. I can pull them up real fast, but then going and moving them all and stacking them all, that's what takes some time.
It has been insane hot. This heat wave that came through the East Coast.
Yeah.
These guys playing soccer games and stuff, and it's near 100-degree heat. And I'm like, how are they even out there? The cooling breaks that they give them, I'm like, I don't think that's enough.
Yeah, I think it hit 105 Fahrenheit. So
and what did you say about Arizona? Did you say it was
Yeah, it was 115 or something like that.
115? Jeez. I mean,
105 is 40 in Celsius.
Right.
So we hit 40 last week.
Here?
Yeah, the heat
Are you talking heat index, or are you talking about like for real?
Heat index.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
Yeah.
I didn't remember anything hitting 105, but yeah, heat index. I'm
Heat
not
index.
surprised.
Yeah.
Plus, we got mugginess here though too. So
Yeah, we do.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What is that? What is that in Celsius? What's 115? 115 in Celsius is 46 degrees.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's got to be like 40.
Yeah, no good.
Mid 40s.
That's almost a hidden.
Wait, put in 30 because I mean, are you talking about 30? I was like 30 is like deep 80s, isn't it? Isn't it like 87 or something?
Let me go back to the calculator. From Celsius to Fahrenheit and 30. You probably can do as fast as me. It is 86 degrees.
Yeah. So 30 is pretty hot. I mean,
yeah.
Compared to here, I mean, because it was like deep 80s here today.
Yeah.
So yeah, y'all have got to be like sweating.
Yeah, it's a little toasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe.
I'm just trying to fix my camera because I hate that it keeps zooming in and zooming out and zooming in and zooming out. But I have no idea.
Yeah, it's the software, and it does that because even though I turned it off on my camera software, the software on the streaming software, it tries to help.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of annoying, and I keep telling it, I'm like, I don't need you to help me do the thing.
No. Like every time I take a sip of water, it's like, we need to really get it on that water sip.
We need to see every individual droplet.
Every pour.
And I'm on like a roll, and then it'll like zoom out on my whole body, and I'm like distracted. I'm like, we don't need to do that. Like, it's driving me nuts. At least the audio people don't have to
deal with that.
Yeah. Fun times.
I have to deal with it, and it's annoying.
There should be a way in the settings to take it off.
I was just looking.
Okay. Cool.
Might be your camera software. That if you've turned it off in the StreamYard app, I don't know where the setting is.
I don't know how to do that in StreamYard because mine's like.
I think it must be it might be your individual camera settings because I use OBSBot camera, and it has its own software, and I turn it off in that software, and then it stopped doing it. Like right now I have it off, so now I can move around and it doesn't do that. But now I can click a button, and now when I do this, it like try to track me down. It's like
see, I don't know where that button is. Mine completely upgraded, so whenever it upgraded is when it started doing this.
Okay. And what kind of laptop do you have? Is it Dell?
iPad.
Oh, you're using an iPad?
Yeah.
Oh wow! I did not know that iPad did that. So I couldn't help you, unfortunately. Yeah. I'll look it up though. I have an iPad myself, so when I go on the iPad, I'll see if I can help. And I'll see like a text or something.
Yeah. In other news, Tree, you were on a podcast that came out. The episode was released. So
it finally came out. Okay,
Yay.
Cool.
That was
one
so
that Londo can't listen to because it's Warbreaker. We'll get there, and Londo has to go.
I can listen to it. I just can't pay attention.
Yeah.
I can listen to y'all. I mean, well. I mean, how was the banter? Did you guys like joke around a whole lot, or was it like serious? Like all talk about?
No, I think it was good. I had a lot of fun. Yeah, I like hanging out with those guys. They're great.
Yeah,
good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's about the banter, then I mean, I could just pay attention to that. And when you guys talk about the story, I'll like hum to myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the banter was kind of about the story, but
okay.
Yeah. No, I really like their podcast. Like they do some fun things. They're a lot more structured than we are.
Yeah, that's fun.
They do like comments from Patreon before. Like Patreon people can like ask questions that they ask on the podcast.
Oh, that's a
really
good
fun.
idea. Yeah.
I love that. And then like the host has like a question of the week. It seems like. Like he's like, since you're here, I'm gonna ask you, what's your top 3 favorite Wheel of Time characters? So it was like geared towards like me reading Wheel of Time, and he's like, I don't ever get to talk about it, so we talked about that a little bit.
Okay.
And then they do like the favorite quote of the week, and the favorite character of the week.
Okay.
So, just like a little extra.
Yeah.
So what did you say your favorite 3 characters were?
Well, I definitely picked Matt and Egwene.
Okay.
I can't remember who my third one was. Because it was kind of like, I like so
Tom
many, but I
Manos.
was just like, pick one and insert here. Like, I love Avietta and Elaine. I love Perrin. I think I picked Perrin.
Pater.
Did not pick Pater. Failed ya. Sorry. Yeah, I think
Karen's
his
always
was,
good. I mean,
Yeah.
he picked Rand.
who picked Rand?
Joe. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I can't remember his other two, but I was like, really? He's like, you should be glad I didn't say Gowan. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I think he picked Matt too.
Okay.
But
I mean,
you just have to listen
most
to
people are
their
going to pick
podcast
Matt.
and find out.
It's pretty automatic. People like Matt, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
he's pretty good.
Yeah.
He went through enough struggle and stress and drama and trauma,
Mhm.
and then the luck thing and all that. You just kind of got to like the guy, right? It's kind of hard not to pick him. So
Yeah.
then he built that army, and blew the horn. He's all the things. I mean, he did a little bit of everything. So
Yeah, he was definitely the most entertaining, I think, to read.
yeah.
I was so excited when it was a Matt chapter. I was like, oh, some shit's gonna go down.
Yeah, because it's not as straightforward as like other characters. It's like he's really unpredictable, right? You don't know how it's gonna go. Is it gonna go good? Is it gonna go bad? Is it gonna be like, I'll toe the line, or is it gonna be like, screw this noise? You know? I mean, and again, he just went through all the things, so you gotta like him. You know?
And I really loved Perrin in the beginning, and then in the middle, it kind of waned off a little bit for me. But then I really liked him again at the end.
What was the pacifist group? I always forget their name.
The Tinkers.
The Tinkers.
Yeah. when they were aligned with them, I was like, this is the most boring part of like all these books. I felt like he was kind of going that route too. Perrin was kind of going that. I was like,
you don't like the Way of the Leaf?
No, not even close.
Speaking of the Way of the Leaf, they're on the Wheel of Reeds tomorrow night, so that should be fun.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, but I mean,
segue.
I just not a fan of them in general.
You don't like the puppets?
Well, I'm sorry. Take that back. Take that back. Let me clarify. I didn't like when Perrin was kind of aligning with them. I was like, come on, man. You need a little bit more bold. No, but Way of the Leaf in general, no, I get no problem with it. I mean,
And the Way of the Leaf podcast is fun. The puppets are great.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a very nuanced group, even in the book. I mean, they're not like a monolith. They're like, I mean, they're all over the map, right? You have some that are like diehard, some are like secessionists from the Way of the Leaf and all that. So a lot of dynamics going on there.
Are you drinking out of Stanley?
Nope. This is a knockoff $5 double-walled mug I got from Michael's.
Okay. Mine actually says McLeese on it. So
Ooh.
So I have an actual special glass. It's a twisted crystal glass, and it says McLeese on it. This is my whiskey glass. It says established 1975, year born. So
nice. So it's an Alando glass.
It is a custom Alando glass that my mom gave me for my 50th birthday. So,
she loves you.
Well, let's talk about some more cups and some Tress. You guys are ready. Cups. Chapter 22. The Idiot. I wanted to get the clip with Ren Stimpy going, idiot, but
You idiot. Yeah, it's EEEEEDIOT. You
idiot.
Yes.
So in the morning, Crow gives Tress the key to the Sprouter's cabin, which is like really nice, like as far as the space goes. Yeah, and it has a work table and a basin that could be used as a bath. And Tress is kind of like, wow, why didn't anybody clamor for this? And she quickly realizes why, because the room's not protected at all from spores. There's no aluminum or silver or anything like that. It's just
it's not protecting you from spores. It's protecting the whole boat from anybody that's got spores in that room.
Yes. So no one wants to sleep in that room because,
something happens. You're done.
You're done.
Yeah.
So Crow shows her work table and explains that the room is lined with aluminum, to protect everybody else from spores. But there's no silver in there. So yeah, Tress is delighted that she gets her own private bunk now. Despite the fact that this. Huck also comes in to wake her to complain about that there is a cat now on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So Huck's being hunted, and he's very stressed out, rightfully so.
I got very Harry Potter vibes from this whole cat mouse / rat situation. Like it was in Harry Potter, it was what Crookshanks and Scabbers.
Scabbers.
Yeah. Was Crookshanks? Is that the name of the cat?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a cat. It's actually called something else. But anyway, it was Hermione's cat thing.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Crookshanks is right.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I got those kind of vibes where it's like, you got a cat, you got a rat. What's gonna happen?
Yeah. So she tells Huck to stick with her for protection, and gets to arranging her cups in her cabin. And she hopes that she hopes that the crew eventually winds up getting her to Charlie. Kind of talks about that a little bit with Huck, and they kind of talk a little bit here and there. But and that's when they bring up the whole thing. She brings the whole thing with ransom, and it's kind of the news that that's not how this works. She's like, I hope I can raise enough money to actually pay the ransom. She's like, that's not how the sorceress works. You know that, right?
Right.
You ransom souls, not like she doesn't care about cash. So
again, supporting my theory that he's not really like kidnapped. That there's something else going on. With this whole situation, his disappearance.
Yeah. Yeah, and decides that there must be some other way to free him besides robbery and the life of piracy. During all this, Ulam drops in, and talks about, and this is, I think, isn't this where he reveals that he's not from this planet?
He's not from the world. And I was like, Conjure.
And she's like, wait,
Conjure.
got him. Really are from this? Yeah,
it's
like you're from another star.
Him.
Well, from another planet that's orbits a star, but no, not a star. I don't live on a star.
A planet?
Yeah.
Because she never heard the word planet before.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And Weave also talks about cultivating emergency food because you can actually use the vines for food. And they're like, yeah, people will eat almost anything. Push comes to shove, which is pretty much true. It's been proven that humans in starvation situations will eat almost anything. Yeah.
Any animal in a starvation situation.
Eat almost anything. Yeah.
I mean, it's not just to humans. It's
not just yeah.
Yeah.
Survival.
There's a reason why cats eat people.
Yes. True.
Well, people are probably delicious. We're full of trans fats and sugar.
Yeah, and we probably eat we eat really tasty stuff. That means it's probably all in our skin.
Yeah.
We eat a lot of unnatural things that you can't find in nature, like extra sugars and
we're probably delicious. And cats are carnivores, so if they don't have any other food, they're going to eat meat.
The only downside, though, is there's a bunch of rare diseases that come from eating other humans that you can only get from eating. So,
because it's not prevalent, right?
Yeah.
Now, what if it's cooked really well?
So now we're gonna. So now we're gonna see you draw a little artwork with cats with frying pans, please.
Well, you can go buy Who food if you want.
Well, I'm not saying cats get diseases from humans.
So that's actually a thing.
They probably could though.
This is not the food talk I like.
So there's actually a thing called Who food. I don't know if you've ever seen this. It's tofu that's actually made to taste and have the same texture as human. So there actually is a thing. It's called Who food.
For people that already got addicted to eating humans, that they need
people that want to try it. I guess I don't know. It's really weird.
I hear it's number one amongst serial killers.
Yeah. So you can get tofu that's synthetic.
Yeah, I'd feel weird even eating the tofu. That's weird. I don't actually want to know.
I mean,
they messed up. They should say it's made from tofu, not tofu.
Also, who has to be the tester sample to know that it actually tastes like people?
Go out to the.
I don't think this is a line of questioning you want to go down, Tree.
I don't know. They go out to Papua New Guinea and go to the cannibal tribes, and meet with them.
So it sounds like that episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where Danny DeVito's character tricked Charlie and Dee to think that they had eaten human meat, and then he were like craving it.
Yeah.
But then they find out that they actually had a rabies infected raccoon meat.
That's
Anyway, it's always funny. Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
It's just always on the off the wall stuff.
it is. It is.
Yes.
There was like a
Rabies
famous
infected
there was a
raccoon meat.
famous like serial killer that like would actually cook humans into their pies. And it's not just from like
There are so many serial killers that have done interesting,
yeah.
quote unquote, interesting things with human meat.
Yeah, I know.
If you can imagine something, somebody has done it. Whether it be like the whole thing that happened in Silence of the Lambs, where he's like, the sewing of the skin from the women that he killed. That's real. That actually, there's like guys that did.
Ed Gein, I think, was the one who made lampshades out of human skin.
Yes, that's true.
There was a
made lampshades.
There was actually a Canadian serial killer that murdered a woman and then wore her face across the border.
I mean, look, I used to have a series of those like trading cards, and it was like all the famous serial killers and all the things they did.
Mm-hmm.
And you could actually play it like a game. They actually had like stats and stuff. And it was one of the craziest stuff I'd ever seen. I was younger and I was into some really macabre things. But that one, again, I don't remember any of their names, so don't ask me to like regurgitate like who did what, blah blah blah. But
so we're now becoming
really
we're now becoming a true crime podcast because
only murders on the podcast is what we're actually gonna call ourselves, right?
Right? Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of serial killers in Canada.
Yeah,
there's a lot of serial killers everywhere. I mean,
there's a lot. Yeah, there's I can't remember how many at any given time there is, but FBI has statistics out there. Like there's active ones at all times.
Oh yeah.
The last bad one that did get cut around, the Colonial Parkway killer never got caught. That was around here. That was in the 90s and 80s.
Now I've read, and I got into like reading books about serial killers, like the Golden State.
Yeah.
That one that's White Devil in the White City, which is the one where it's like the story about the building of the Chicago World's Fair at the same time that Holmes, I think his name John H. Holmes, was doing all the killings and stuff. And that murder, basically, he made a murder building, which burned down. But I mean, I got like really into serial killers for like a long time, and then I was like, I need to stop reading this stuff because I'm having weird dreams, all this kind of stuff, and
I did too, Alando, because it's interesting. Like it's creepy. It's also good to know for your own safety, like how people get picked up and lured into things.
I feel like almost creepy, every one of the situations that I read about in these books, I feel like it's people that being really cavalier with their safety.
Yeah.
Like not locking their doors, or like, I'm in a good neighborhood, I'm not going to care about my surroundings. You should always check your surroundings. I don't care where you are.
Yeah.
I mean,
and there's my grandparents who literally leave the keys in the front door sometimes. I wake up in the morning and I'm like,
oh my goodness!
Like tell everybody that we're ready.
Oh man, that's wait, and it's like the whole keychain. There's like multiple keys on the key. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh yeah.
See, that's the kind of stuff that happens when you're like I'm gonna use the term sleepy little town, and you start getting like a little cavalier. You're like, whatever, I'm not gonna worry about this. I'm just gonna leave the door unlocked, leave my keys in the. See, that's the kind of stuff that gets. That appeals to serial killers because they're like, no one's going to notice me here. I can keep my head down. There's no security cameras. There's no, like here in Newport News, I mean, there's enough security footage off of buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Someone would probably kind of either catch you or catch your car driving around.
There are police cameras everywhere in the city.
Right.
It's like
we don't have those here so much.
Oh, we
right.
The whole city is full.
My grandma is a true crime like lover. Like she loves watching all of that stuff. So she
Wow,
should
and still leaves the key in the door. Like, okay. So she's watching unsolved mysteries. Like, oh my goodness, how does that happen to people? And then she leaves the keys in the lock. Oh, Grandma Tree, Grandma Tree, come on.
Grandma Tree.
Have him call her until I know better.
No, Grandma Tree is good. I like it.
Good deal. Graham Tree.
Graham Tree.
Grand tree.
Mm-hmm.
So, where were we? Ulam. Yes, Ulam's a different planet. She asked about Hoyd's curse. And we learned that actually Ulam came to the planet because Hoyd asked him to. And doesn't really know much about. He's like, I can't really figure out what happened with Hoyd's curse. Just know that he's cursed. That's all they really know. So, yeah, just goes on to try to figure that out a little bit, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
I think that she gets that idea that maybe Hoyd could be the key to figuring out how to save Charlie.
Yeah, she's starting to put pieces together.
Yeah. Is this the part, like, is this the chapter where Hoyd is narrating and is all excited because Tress is like, I need to rethink my plan?
That's the next chapter.
That is the next chapter?
It's the end of the next chapter.
Yeah.
I know exactly what the moment you're talking about.
Yeah, because I love that so much.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a nice little. It was like a nice little like break. It was like interesting.
Yeah.
I thought it was this one because she found out about the souls from the priestess, sorceress, night mother. Until I know better.
The sorceress. Mm-hmm.
And
sorceress.
was this also the chapter we talk about the crimson and the
No, that's next.
Black Sea.
That's the next one.
Okay.
Yep. So, chapter 23, the assistant cannon master. So, while working on the deck, Tress asked Anne how many seas she sailed, and Anne sails 3, and then Fort, writes down 10. And they're like, really? And this is where they have the conversation because he says all but the midnight of the crimson.
Yeah, she's like, and then she's like, which 2 didn't you sail?
Yeah.
And then he says,
the obvious ones.
The 2 you think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which 2 do you think?
And then she's like, well, why do people just sail around the Crimson Sea to get to the midnight? And they explain the mountain ranges and kind of geography. And said, I guess you could sail around the entire world and come from the other side. But no one's ever really tried that. It's kind of a choke point and why the sorcerer is so powerful. She has a stranglehold on trade. And it's why war is on afoot. But yeah, you also, that's also confirming that there are 12 different types of spores for the 12 different types of seas.
Validation.
I know. For the 12 different types of moons, just like Tree said.
Yep. It was a good guess. And I liked that I guessed it. And then they're like, how did you not know that, Tress? It's like, yeah, it was pretty obvious, Tress. Come on.
Poor thing.
You're supposed to be all smart and practical.
Oh, man.
Yep. And also Tress does a little sneaky some clandestine stuff here where she swaps out the barrels and swaps out normal cannonballs for the ones that Laggard hid. And this is, I love when Hoyd talks about this too. It's like, Tress was trying to act like, like no one was watching. It's like, the thing is, like, most people don't really pay attention to you because they're always worried about people paying attention to them. So, like, if you just act normal, and it's actually a true thing too. It's like when you start getting paranoid about someone watching you, that's when someone notices you because you're acting weird. But like, most people don't watch you, like people don't pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah, that's the 2 things is if you keep your head down and basically walk like confidently, like in a straight line to where you need to go, no one's going to bother you. The other thing that I've had to train people on, because of course working in IT, I've had to train people on social engineering and stuff, is that if you have somebody go into a building that looks authoritative and walk around with a clipboard, they can pretty much get anything they want.
Mm-hmm.
So you go into a building with a clipboard and you say, hey, I'm here representing the and of course if you like wear one of those like orange vests, and you can get anything you want.
Or dress in the ladder. That's like
you can go in and be like, hey, look, I'm actually here. We're doing the monthly check of the fire suppression system here. I need to get access to, because that's why people would get access to server rooms and stuff. They would be like, I'm here to check the fire suppression system, and you would You would let some rando dude walk into your server room.
This was
Yeah.
years
and have
ago.
access
but
to all your technology.
We're
There's
back to
this-
true crime.
There's this really big heist, actually. This was years ago. I can't remember if it was Compaq computers or Dell's, but the guy printed out his own polo shirt with the Dell logo on it, the Compaq computer logo on it, went to a Best Buy with a clipboard, pulled his truck right to the front door, and just went like, hey, there's a recall on these computers. I'm just going to load up my pallet and take these out of the store. No one stopped him. He just went in there.
Oh yeah.
Loaded up all the things, wheeled it out to his
None
car.
of that
and
surprises me.
like,
It sounds like
no one
it sounds like
stopped,
something
okay.
that either it sounds like something that either Compaq or Gateway computers
Yeah,
would have been like the most most likely.
right.
but,
It was way back in the day. It was way back in the day.
Yeah,
It was-
that's completely legit.
That would have been so smart during COVID too, because everyone's already wearing a mask.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally, you'd be surprised. I mean, now I'm not going to go into like a well fortified Fortune 500 company and do that. You can't do that. But I'm telling you right now, I think that like if I was to go to like some of these, we have some like semi major companies, headquartered in Richmond. Some of them, I think if I was to go up there with authority, dress the right way, go with a clipboard, maybe an iPad or something, and look like, hey, look, I was told I need to be here, that you guys are coming there with authority. I mean, who are they going to call? I mean, that's the other thing too, is they don't know who to call. It's not like, so how do I check this out? They don't know who to refer to say whether or not this is BS or not.
For the really large companies that have the security desk up front and in the gates you have to scan through, you're not going to be able to do that there. But like, because they check their vendors and stuff like that. I mean, I know like the financial markets are financial, and also like even like Ferguson Enterprises, just local. Like you go in there, like doesn't matter. They're not going to let you in without checking.
Yeah. The other one I could get away with is back in the day, I was ISO 9000 and 14000 certified as an auditor. And I used to have to go audit other companies. That was one of the things I had to do to maintain my certification. And of course, you don't announce when you're going to go in and audit a company. So I would go in and I was like, I need to see all your procedures and all this kind of stuff. Realistically, I could have went into some random company, said, I'm ISO 9001 certified. I'm here to audit your records. I need to see all your standard operating procedures, blah, blah, blah. I would have had access to all their security, all the things if I really wanted to be malicious. Not that I ever would do something like that, but I always thought that was a problem. I was like, I understand random auditing, but I mean, anybody can just walk into a company and be like, well, I'm ISO 9000 certified and I'm here to check blah, 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 whatever. So all you have to do is just like look up the companies, because every company that has ISO 9000 certification was like posting it all over their website. So it'd be easy just to go up and be like, hey, I'm an auditor. Show me all your books.
I haven't done this in years, but I used to always, they always used to, for 4th of July locally here in the mayor's office, which is the top floor of City Hall, they have a party there on 4th of July so you can overlook the fireworks. And I used to use it as a flex before I got married and everything like that. Like when I was dating a girl, we would just like be at the park, and I'd be like, hey, just come here, and just like walk into City Hall and act like I'm invited to the party, and just go straight up to the mayor's office and just walk in, start eating the food, drinking the drinks, and like go on the balcony and watch the fireworks from up there in the mayor's office, and just
did that at City of Norfolk.
Supposed to be there. Like,
no City of Norfolk, I was allowed to be there, so it was like not a big deal. I mean, for me to do that, but I was like, this is so easy. All you have to do is just dress somewhat nice, walking with authority. No one recognizes anybody, and you just sit and mingle and all the things. So.
Well, anyways, so she switches out the cannonballs. And swaps the normal cannonballs out and asks Tress if she's practiced the charges. Tress is like, of course I have.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And Tress asks about, the captain, and Anne crumbles slightly, but after Anne leaves, Tress asks Fort why Anne isn't allowed to fire the cannons. Fort requests to trade information. So Tress explains more about wanting to reach the sorcerers and all this other stuff, and Fort shares that Anne has the worst aim. Has worse aim than a drunk man riding a 3-legged llama.
Again, the adages in these chapters are hilarious. I've loved all of them.
But she just wants to shoot things so bad.
She does.
Yep.
She does. Shoot. She's a horrible aim. Yeah. Fort says that, and then even this is funny with this change of information too, this trade, because Tress is like, I didn't really give you anything. It's like, well, I'm not really giving you anything either. Like, anyone would have told you this eventually. You would have figured this out. Like, it's not that much of a secret.
Mhm.
Yeah. And asks about, if they do find Charlie, will he be cursed like Hoyd? And mentions that the captain specifically traded to get Hoyd on the ship. Tress finds this really interesting combination that, like, they're Dead Runner crew, obviously trying to get to the sorcerer, and Hoyd got traded to get on the ship, and she's like, I need to rethink everything. And this is where they end the chapter with like, and this is where, our hero, does something that no one ever does inside books, which is actually stop and think.
Yeah. She's
How
like,
about
I need
that?
more information before I make any more moves.
Yeah.
How about that? Taking a beat.
Yeah.
Mm.
It
Good
reminds
for
me of
you.
that first few chapters where she asked her parents for help, and they're like, if we ask our parents for help more, we'd be better off.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that a little bit.
All right. Anything else from this chapter? Anything about
these chapters run together a lot for me, so unfortunately it's hard for me to remember what the demarcation points are.
This was really the big conversation with Fort about the Crimson Sea and about Anne and the cannonballs and the bad trades.
Right.
Did they mention what the Crimson Spores do?
No, they just say both the Midnight Spores and Crimson are very dangerous, but they don't ever say what they actually do.
Okay. That's right. I keep saying black. I mean, you say Midnight Spores. Mm-hmm. I keep thinking about the fact that they're the same colors as my Italian team, the Rossoneri. And I'm like, oh man, red, black, hey. But yeah, I forgot they're actually Crimson and Midnight. Yeah. Is this a chapter though where it was like the whole not bartering, but it was like the whole I want information.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And this was that chapter, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
I'm guessing they either like the Crimson Spores either turn into like fireballs or like wildflowers, and nobody actually knows, and they're just afraid of it. So it's just like a field of wildflowers.
I feel like all spores. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be like, kind of like the way that they treated metals in like Mistborn. It's like you don't really understand what you can do, because when we get to the end of the chapters, we find out that spores aren't necessarily all like bad and evil. Someone has the ability to utilize spores. So I'm like, I feel like that's what's going to happen with spores in general. It's like, okay, they're scared of it, but maybe it's because they don't know how to utilize it properly.
Well, I mean, we've already seen that twice now, right? So like the crazy crystals, like Tress was afraid of them because like, what if they got in your mouth and your whole head exploded into crystals? But they used them to patch the ship.
Yes.
Right. And then the same thing with the green vine spores. They're like, well, we can eat those.
Yeah.
Right. So they're not all scary.
So we know that the midnight spores are the domain of Midnight Seas, domain of the sorcerer. But we also, I think it's this chapter, the chapter about to go into, where they tell the Crimson is the domain of the dragon.
Ooh, so yes, fireballs.
They do mention a dragon. And they're like, and he even says like, yeah, but this is not that kind of thing. Because he goes right to it, where he's just there and talks about like, he's like, it's not the kind of heroic thing like you think, like fighting dragons or dealing with dragons. Although she does do that later. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Dragons. I have no idea what like, the midnight spores would
dragons in the cosmic world? Question mark.
Sure. Why not?
Sure. Why not?
Dragons.
Probably
just a giant crab.
Probably. Crab people. Chapter 24.
It's all crab people and Doug's people. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Doug people. Chapter 24, The Cursed Man. So Tress finds Hoyd and starts to try to ask him about the curse. And we learn really quickly that Hoyd is like so frustrated by this because like she knows of a curse, and part of the curse is I can't tell her about the curse. So like every time I open my mouth to say anything, like just random garbage comes out. And he's like, the thing that sucks about the curse is that they left him with enough know-how to know that he's not able to explain, like, enough comprehension to know that it's the curse that's messing him up, but not being able to fix it. It's just super
And
frustrating.
is this supposed to be synonymous with the curses that we learned about in the Way of Kings is the question.
That's what I'm wondering too.
Because he never actually talks about the curse.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, is it... I just see so many similarities in synonymous passages. I know they're different planets and everything, but I feel like it's the same thing.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah, we'll get some other things that are similarities and crossovers in a little bit too later in this chapter.
Sure.
Especially since we already have so many things going from planet to planet at this point.
Right, because we already got a conjure. You've confirmed that.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a conjure, right? We got the sorceress, which definitely is from another planet that we know of.
And then the tablet thing
is also from another planet that we know of. Multiple planets that we know of.
All right.
We've got some other like the magical systems, not the same, but there's like some very similar elements, right?
Yes.
It's just it's too much crossover. It's
too much crossover. And Tress mentioned something about hearing about other people being from other planets as well, and that's more and more common.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yep.
But they ain't got a rocket ship, so how's that happen?
Rocket ship somewhere. Well, I'm thinking this planet is getting swallowed up by spores, so people have discovered space travel real fast.
Okay. Interesting. Also, this is where Hoyd blurts out that something about 6 stars. And Tress notes it, but then thinks, is Hoyd just being crazy or doesn't really know? But she goes back to her cabin and finds the cat is menacing Huck. So she chases off the cat and just lies in the bunk and notices that there's lines in the ceiling. And,
how did the cat get in the room? I'm sorry, that part. Yeah. If she closed it, because then Huck says lock the door.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, so this cat's got opposable thumbs and can like open a door now. Is that what's happening?
Did someone let the cat in?
So again, all of it seemed like weird to me, and it almost seemed like there was like a sabotage element here, where somebody knows about Tress and Huck and their relationship, and they know he's doing things, and they're like, this ain't no ordinary rat, let's get rid of this character because it's helping Tress. And I feel like there's somebody trying to sabotage her. That's my guess.
I don't know. I thought just because it was like a padlock on the outside, like there's no lock, that maybe she just didn't put the padlock all the way through. I just had it like unlocked and had it on like the
somebody
one half.
had to open this door for the cat, right?
I don't know. My cat can open doors.
I would think that the door would have like, let's forget locking mechanisms for a second. If you close any bedroom door, it still closes. Whether it has a knob or a handle.
If it doesn't latch, my cat will put his paw underneath the door and pull the door open. That's if it's not
right, but that's that part I get. Because most doors also indoors, most doors open in to the room, so it's just push, right? And then your front door tendency is to also open in, not out, right? Sure. So I'm like, okay, so if it wasn't latched, fine. So you just push it in. But she mentioned specifically about not locking, or he said you need to lock the door, which means that she had closed the door.
But not locked.
So I'm like, that means someone specifically opened the door for the cat. That's the reason I feel like someone's out to get her. And I think she's got a villain on her that maybe she's not aware of yet. But there's somebody gunning for her. That's my thought.
I think it's Doug.
Probably Doug.
Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna go Doug 2.7.
Like 2.7. Okay.
Or
Um,
someone was at least like snooping around in her room or something.
Yeah, something's going on, but
yeah.
it just sounds sus all around.
Yeah.
Didn't she mention something about the padlock key? It had like a twin key. So like she has a key and then there's like another key. I thought she said something about there being two.
Don't read.
I don't remember either.
Sorry.
Maybe.
I don't remember that.
Okay. Yeah, could have sworn that was. And I was like, huh.
It might have been. I mean, 100%. I just don't remember. But I know Tress is laying here, and she says there's no cats on the rock, and then Huck's like, that sounds like a wonderful place. He's like, where I'm from, I wouldn't really be allowed to talk to people like you, because our people don't talk to people like you. And he's like, there's a place to put talking rats. That's crazy. And as she's talking to him, she's listening to him talk, and she's looking up at the lines, and she realizes, like, oh, those are stars. And Huck says, what are you looking at? She's like, there's stars up there, but none of them are 6 stars. And it's like, those aren't stars, those are explosions. The stars are under the bed. So she goes in there and crawls on the bed and sees 6 stars and pushes on it, and it unlocks a secret compartment where there's a small tin with midnight spores in it.
Dun, dun, dun.
And that's how we end the show.
Yeah, hopefully.
By the way, Huck is extremely cagey about why he has the ability to speak. He is doing everything he can to avoid having to explain why. And that sounds like sus. He does everything to, like, dissuade her from having that conversation. He's like, oh, I'm going to, talk about something else. Or she's like, can other rats where you're from speak? He's like, yep. And end of story. I'm like, what? Why are you not? Because even he knows that is not common. And yet and still, he just refuses to go into details of this. And I'm like, this whole thing sounds like either you were from another world and something crazy happened, it brought you here, et cetera, or there's like some, I don't know, some backstory that he's like, well, I didn't want to tell you this thing because we had to sacrifice babies and so we can talk, but
that's true. Maybe they all got cursed by the sorceress.
It could be a curse thing. Exactly. Something's going on there, and he's trying to do everything he can to. I feel like I use this word too much, but he's trying to do his best to obfuscate the fact that something happened to make them able to speak, and he's going to do everything he can to just cast shade on it and be like, well, yeah, we can talk. Hey, look over there, to just distract people, right? Instead of just being up front. Because if it was a simple explanation, he would have told it by now.
Yeah,
true. Maybe he can't explain either because of his curse.
That's it. See, but at least that makes sense. If it was like he can't explain it because of a curse, fine. I'm okay there, but I'm not okay with him like continuing to be like, let me just kind of hide, behind the shadows of, anonymity or, obscurity, just so I can make sure you don't find out why I can do this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's suspect. Sorry, Huck. You suspect. You're sus too.
Sus. So chapter 25, The Prey. So Huck pleads with Tress to kill the midnight spores, and she's like, why are they so dangerous? And he's like, I don't know, but they're dangerous.
Look at the bones.
Look at the bones.
Yeah, exactly.
Fangs, it can leap. Look at the bones.
It can leap. It's got huge. Look at the bones.
Yeah.
Always a winner.
And he doesn't like how she's getting used to danger, and she even I guess Hoyd comments on that too, saying people get used to danger. It's we're comfortable with it.
Yeah, you get too cavalier.
Yeah, and she puts it back in her hiding place. Considers going to Ullum about it, but just during that time, the warning bell rings that they sighted a vessel. So they pursue the ship for 5 hours, and on the final approach, they order a warning shot, and of course Anne's up there and she's like, I want to do it, and they're like, no,
Everyone just keeps taking her guns away, and she just keeps finding more.
Well, that's in the next part, but yes.
So what is this all about, by the way? These hidden guns, these found guns. What is this, America? You could just go on any street corner and find a gun? Oh my goodness.
I loved it. It was so funny.
And but yeah, so the Cannoneer Laggart, he gets one of the balls out from the secret compartment, but of course Tress is, switched him out. So he takes aim, fires him, and it works just like a normal trap shot, where it blows up before it hits the boat and sprays water all over the boat, which causes then vines to capture the boat. And the crew cheers, and Tress observes the Laggart like get upset about this, like that's not what's supposed to happen, and the captain.
Right.
The captain's like, yeah, we're doing a good job. But you can tell that she's not happy either. Like, it's just very obvious that this is not what was supposed to happen. Tress is watching, but the crew's so happy because they're like, yeah, we actually get to capture them, like, not kill them. And the ship fires off a flare for surrender. And they're like, all right, we won. So let's go ahead and get closer. And right then, the seethe stills and the ships both get trapped. And they're like, this stinks now. Like they just surrendered, but now they're stuck, which means that, the other boat aims their cannons and shoots one right at the Crowsong.
What was Tress's game plan here? Because think about this. I mean, okay, if she sabotaged 2 of the cannonballs, fine, right? Out of how many did she make? I think it was like 12. Whatever. Let's say she sabotaged 2. But if every single one is bad, then she's got to claim ignorance based on novice status of being a sprouter, right?
Right.
Fine, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like
she's worried about she's worried that they're going to be suspicious of her. I mean, she even mentions that.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, what she's working off of, though, is that it's like the 2 of them playing each other in this like weird game of chess. So she's playing them to say, you don't know that I've sabotaged your cannonballs, but they're on the other side saying, you don't know that we've made the cannonballs more powerful to try to kill everybody.
Yeah.
So it's like it's the worst game of cat and mouse that only a very select few people on this boat know, and the other rest of the crew are completely oblivious to. So they're all happy and cheering, like, hooray, we're doing a thing. But yet until there's cat and mouse things going on between Tress, Cap, etc. Yeah. I found it fun.
And then also you got at this point, this is now to the next chapter. So the cannonball hits them, and the Crowsong scrambles to get guns out to start trying to sharpshoot. And of course, Anne pulls out guns, and the Dugs wrestle away the gun from her. Like, no, you're not going to shoot anything. Pulls out another gun. No, you're not going to shoot that one either.
Yeah, that was pretty hilarious. And by the way, until I'm told otherwise, I will think of all Dugs as minions from Despicable Me.
Pretty much. Didn't Fort say that she almost shot him while she was beside him, standing right beside him?
Yeah, and then he
shot him.
Next time you shoot a gun, I'm gonna be down in my room, possibly wearing armor.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just gonna be exactly where you're aiming.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so Crow picks off the Cannoneer from the other boat. And meanwhile, Anne's begging to get a shot off, and Crow's barking orders back at her, like, you're the carpenter. Get the sprouter and the carpenter down below and fix the ship before the seethe comes back off, because if not, we're sinking. So, you go do your thing. And she's like, can I get a shot first? She's like, no, if you don't go right now, the next shot will be right here, a lot closer. I'm going to shoot you.
Right.
Get and repair the ship. So they go down, and Tress goes and locates the roseite spores, and looks for the little compartment that she saw from the previous boat, but can't find it, but then sees an iron and steel tools. Which then she quickly learns acts a lot like pushing and pulling the iron and steel. Push and pulls. Very
Pushing and pulling with iron and steel.
Where have we heard of this? I don't know of these concepts you speak of.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Little crossover. Little.
Oh, I don't remember when it was, but there was another, like, she said there was something about an eldritch horror that looked like it was going to come out and, like, eat all the virgins or whatever. And I was like, that is a crossover for our world. Yes, like Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Yes.
All the things.
Like, oh, snap. We real crossing over.
Yep. Yeah. But Tress manages to get the spores. She messes up the first couple of times, but then puts a little bit of water on the windowsill, puts it on there, and then they explode onto the ship and just grow rapidly. And then she's like, "Okay, well, that's not really how that doesn't plug anything." But then she realizes she drops a little water on the already big crystals; they'll slowly grow. So, and then she's able to use the tools to, shape it and plug the hole. And she gets it plugged just as the seed returns and reports back on deck. Use the plate to push it in, and then it's just, pull it in. Yeah, just seems really tedious. Would not be a job for me at all. I am not good at tedious things. That's not my forte at all.
I'd probably be
So
good at
you're not going to start cross stitching or crocheting or sewing? That's not you, Alan? Oh.
Yeah, no. I tried to do models once, and it's just I get so frustrated. I'm like,
I love the way they end up, but yeah, it does take some serious patience. Those small little intricate little pieces and stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to do like a model airplane, and like they had like a little thing, and I looked on it literally, it's like the most microscopic little piece of plastic, and then it had zoomed in on the directions like where to paint it. I'm like. That's funny.
So I got one of those when I was like a teenager, and I didn't know how complex those things were, and I thought it came with all the stuff. I'm thinking it's like, oh, you just put it together. I opened that thing up, and it was like a bunch of plastic pieces, like how they come in like that fishbone frame where you gotta break everything out, and you gotta go and sand down all the edges to make them smooth.
And then you got to put rubber cement or whatever and glue it all together yourself because it doesn't.
I did not know. Here I am, teenager. I'm like, and I would say teenager. Like, let's say I'm 13. I'm like young teenager, and I'm like breaking stuff apart. I'm like, what the hell am I do with all this stuff? And it was actually it was a Japanese like Robotech type character. And I was super excited about getting this thing, and then I was like, screw this noise, threw it all away. Every bit of it, threw it away. And I was like,
no.
Because I was like, I have no patience for this. I'm a teenager. I got no, whatever. Nonsense. Now,
I tried to do a little toy, one of those, but it was a punch buggy. My grandpa was really into models.
I love Irish.
No, sorry, Irish. You got to provide the hamburger.
You got to get
yeah, right.
They just give you the helper.
I remember when I was growing, I was like in my 20s, and I think one of my neighbors, and she was like in the army. She did not know how to cook at all. And I remember she was like, so I made some hamburger helper the other day. Why do people buy this? It's not very good. There's like no meat in it. No, I was like, you got to provide the meat. Otherwise, you just basically are getting mac and cheese, essentially. I mean,
yeah. Anyways, great. All right. Yeah. So get to chapter 27, the Spore Eater. So yeah. So
man, we kind of flew through these chapters again.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Crow's able to snipe enough people off, and when the siege starts up, they're able to patch up enough that they're able to get inside. Their surrender again, second time. And they go get a boarding crew ready. And Crow's ready to just go kill everyone. And Soleil confronts Crow over this order, and it's like, no, I'm the helms person. I have the right to talk to their captain.
That's right.
And
Yeah, she just shut her down. It's like,
Yep.
oh, you
This is the
are.
second time she's done that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like you got some
She's like-
guts, girl.
and
Yeah,
you know,
she's like, I got more power than
yeah,
you think I do. You know.
Yeah, and like called her
Yeah.
out too. She's like, we don't all want to be murderers. We signed on as pirates, but we don't want to kill everybody.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. So after a tense moment, Crow assents and lets her go do it. And they get on board and they're Slay's off talking to the captain. And one of the companions of the merchant vessel is like just seething, like really upset over someone that, one of the people that Crow had killed. And goes and grabs a weapon and raises it towards Crow. And of course, this is exactly what Crow wants. But then like they like calm down, everybody calm. And the other captain's yelling at this guy like, put the gun down. And then Crow responds by pulling out a run pistol and turning it on herself and shooting herself in the head. But then as soon as she turns the gun on herself and shoots, green vines shoot out of her face, stop the bullet, and all returns back to normal. Now there's scratch on her.
Well, there's a little blood. There's a little blood.
There's a little blood. Yeah, little tiny.
So I don't know where that came from. I didn't catch that.
I thought
if it
she
was-
legit like shot herself in the head.
She did.
And like it went through, like it actually hit her, and then it just like she just like healed magically from like.
No,
some
the
weird
vines
mess.
came out and blocked it. Like came out of her
Oh
face.
yeah, I do remember that. So they said the vine.
Yeah.
caught
So the
Mhm.
blood must have come from the vines coming through her skin.
Yeah,
That was my guess, but I know it specifically said there was blood.
yeah,
Yeah.
just a tiny little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just like a scratch. I don't know.
Look,
Yeah.
all I know is that means that this whole spore situation's like everything else in every other Brandon Sanderson book. There's a lot more nuance to it than we think, right?
Yeah. This person's head turns into vines. Something's weird about Crow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And also sharpshooter,
Also sharpshooter.
by the way. I mean, because remember,
Oh yeah.
by the way, and let's go back to, and Alan, I thought for sure you were going to go into like ad nauseum details about muskets and stuff. I mean, muskets are like the most non specific and well aimed piece of artillery ever made in all of existence, right?
A smoothbore musket can't hit the side of a barn from 30 yards.
Cannot, it literally. No. That's the reason why I think about, because you and I had a conversation on a previous podcast about it,
Yeah.
about how terrible they
Yeah.
were. Literally, you could stand in front of a guy with a musket at like maybe 30 yards, something like that, and there's no way they could like aim it like perfectly,
Right.
and no possibility they're gonna ever hit you, right?
Yeah.
Not gonna.
That's why they would line up. I mean, literally, that's why they would line up to shoot volleys,
Boom.
because you
Yeah.
have a wall of bars and they're going to hit something.
You're right. Hope we can hit somebody. Yeah. So the fact that somebody's hitting, I mean, like, I'm talking about sharpshooting people on another boat.
Now, did they mention her gun was different? They did mention that.
They did, because it's like there was older guns, and then her gun was like
Something's
newer
different. Yeah.
and looked better and all the things.
It could be rifle.
So it could be. Right. But I just know that, I mean, so there's special capabilities, because even if that's the case, there's still a level of talent required, right?
Mhm.
Because it's not like the boats were like right next to each other. At that point in time, there was still a lot of distance
Sure.
between them. So again, some interesting things going on here.
Yeah.
You know, where is the skill set coming from? Is like something unholy or supernatural helping you?
Mm.
You know. So now we're getting
Or
all
secret.
the other elements. Yeah.
And
wizard
why?
is secret.
And why is Crow so hell bent on going to the Midnight Sea?
I think she might be going for something that's similar to the reason why Tress is going.
Okay. Looking for someone.
Looking for someone.
She wants to make a bargain
Or
with the night mother.
maybe she's trying to replace the sorceress.
Hmm.
Maybe.
Interesting.
Yeah. I got that's my number one theory, is it's something about the sorceress, that they're like from the same like ilk or something like that.
Yeah.
That's my guess, but I don't really know. I got nothing to support or substantiate that theory.
Yeah. And she also boasts here about sinking the Oot stream to this whole captured crew as
Yeah.
well.
Right.
Damn it when she did that, because Soleil did the whole thing, we're not killing anybody, nobody wants to kill anybody, and then
Crow's like, we
Captain
kill
Crow was
people.
just like, we just sunk a whole ship, take that, go tell
Yep.
everybody about that. And I was like, god damn it. Like,
Yep, exactly. Tree, I feel you. I thought the same thing. I was like, it just completely subverted what she was trying to say, right? To put people at ease, and then she was like, "Nah, we be slitting throats." It's like, oh no,
oh,
because now people are going to go into desperation mode, and people in desperation mode, you don't want that, because they will be like, "Look, if I'm going to die, now it's fight or flight."
Yeah,
fight, flight, or freeze, right?
I can't remember what journal it was, or maybe it was from a book. Always leaving out. Is that from like there's in this? I think it's, I can't remember what general it was, but I think it's about the Roman times where they talked about always leave a retreat path, for never box up another army in. Because
that sounds like 300. Jeez, I mean that sounds like
But the reason being is if there's a way to get out, they won't fight. There's a chance that they'll disengage it. But if they don't have any other choice but to engage you, the casualties will be so much higher on your side, because they're going to fight. Like there's no other choice. Like you're putting someone in a corner. But always leaving a way out of a battle.
Jeez, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't.
Sun Tzu.
That's it.
Yep. There it is. I was like, this is not a Roman thing. I was like, this is really common.
Yeah.
Sun Tzu, and it originated where it's always leave an escape route. That's what that's from. Yes.
Yeah. So, let's catch this. So, anyway. So, yeah, so we end this chapter. They tackled the guy who threatened them, and they head below deck, and we end this chapter. So, fun times.
Interesting reads. I continue to like the pacing of this book much more than the verbosity of the other books that we've read, because I just feel like it's just so much, and it's like it's a lot of exposition, a lot of world building, and I still feel like I didn't get a lot of answers or understanding about what's going on in the world around me when I'm reading the book.
Too, with the standalone book, it's trying to tell a complete story in one book versus
Stormlight,
which is not. They're not trying to finish it in one book. It's all about the world building and all about dragging it out and making the whole story more robust. Whereas this is
probably remember 15% of that book. There's like probably 15% of that book that I really think I'm going to retain.
We'll do a review.
Now you know how I feel, Alondo, and I'm like, I kind of read Stormlight. Like, I know I did.
Yeah, because
it's been like 5 years and I don't remember like any.
And that's the reason why I feel you so much when you talk about that, because you're like, I've read it before, but I think I'm still good on the podcast as a first time reader. And I'm like, yeah, that checks out, because I remember the highlights.
Yeah, exactly. I remember like the big highlights. Like there's even like a little things that was like, oh shit, I should have remembered that. Like, nope, did not remember that at all.
But the pacing is good, detail is good, the intrigue is good.
Yeah.
World building is great. The mystique is great too. There's still like a lot of mystery here. I mean, we don't know what's going on with Huck. We don't know what's going on with the crew generally. The technology, the world hopping, how did they get here? How are people getting off world? What's going on with these curses? There's so many questions right now in this little novella where I'm like, I'm in.
And sprinkles in a decent amount of humor too, which is like,
I mean, it's really hits a lot of the notes I want in a novel. So I'm appreciating it. Yeah. So this has been an enjoyable read.
I like
I'm going to continue to say this one. Yeah.
Plus, we have an unreliable narrator who doesn't know what the fuck anything is either.
Right.
He describes things as they look, but like,
which is even better, because he's unreliable, and I'm like, okay, well that means you're not going to give us all the answers right up front.
We didn't even talk about the
No.
card game he invented, where he's wearing a shoe on his
Right.
head.
By the way, and he talked about the card game, and I was like, "Was it called Kings?"
Kings,
I
yeah.
think it is.
Kings.
And
He
I
shows all the-
swear, I was like, "Is this freaking?" I was like, "Are we going back to the Wheel of Time?" I swear, I feel like this is like Wheel of Time kind of stuff. I was like, which I had no problem with, by the way.
Yeah.
It just to be upfront. But I was
Sure.
like, "Oh, cool."
It's like poker,
is
but you
Matt
show
gonna
you-
just
but
pop
you-
up and like win.
But you don't show your hand. You don't see your hand. You see everybody else's hand. But he's losing all
Right,
his
which
money.
is
And,
which
took
is
all
like
of his
heads
money,
up,
his
right? I
clothes.
mean,
Yeah.
all I thought of was heads up, where you like
Yeah.
hold the card
Yeah,
on your
card up your
forehead.
forehead,
you-
yeah.
yeah. So
Sounded
yeah,
like
I
they were
found it
playing
entertaining.
poker.
What?
But like that's what it sounded like. Like sounded like they were playing
Playing poker, except
But
for they couldn't see
everybody
their own
see-
cards, right?
Yeah.
But he even lost his shoe that he was wearing on his head. But he can't. He doesn't. He didn't remember where he put his other shoe.
Yeah, and then I like the fact that he got into the fashion thing. So one of the fashions was like actually hanging your shoes around your neck
Yeah,
or
by the
something. And I
shoelaces.
was like, "What? This guy?" I was like, "You sound like a retired soccer player who's like, I'm going to carry my cleats around tied around my neck." What? Okay, why not?
Why not? Yeah. It's fun.
Funny.
Fun
Again,
stuff.
it's very whimsical. I really appreciate the tone of the book
Yeah.
and the way he's written it, and it goes by
Yeah.
very quickly, but still effectively. So
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm enjoying this book immensely.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Yeah.
All
I
around.
really thought you'd enjoy it, Tree, and
I love it a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's cute.
it is.
Oh, it's definitely got some cute elements. It still has gravitas though too.
Mhm.
Again, like I said, like in like our second episode about this book, I was like, I get princess vibe through and through.
Yeah.
And the fact you confirmed that and said he specifically wanted to have the princess bride
Yeah.
elements in this, I was like, it just keeps coming up over and over and
Right.
over again.
Yeah.
And it's something nice about having something you can relate to. It's like, oh, this sounds like something I've already read or watched. So I continue to appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hoyd in this one reminds me of the Fool from the Robin Hobb series a lot too.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have read that one.
I've
but
I've not read Robin Hobb.
no. So the Fool, who's like kind of a important character in those books.
Mhm.
This book specifically, Hoyd reminds me of,
Must be the Fool.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
and probably
Yeah.
lots of other books too.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's
There's
probably, if I
lots of
sat and
little
thought
props.
about it, there's probably
Yeah, there was
Other-
the Lovecraft thing. There's,
mhm.
and then I
Yeah.
think we said some other things before too, but I can't remember. That was like weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I did yesterday.
None of us does.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Well,
a
besides
very
watch a soccer game. That's all I remember I did yesterday. I got nothing else. I don't
yeah.
remember squat.
Yeah.
I think most of like what is it? I'm trying to think of like in literature, like Puck from Midsummer's Night's Dream from Shakespeare. Puck is like
Yeah.
that whimsical
Yeah.
comedy type character.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, and they
Very
seem
much
to kind of have anachronisms to them, where it's like they're not really. They sound like they're not from this time somehow or
Mhm.
another.
Sure.
It's like how do you know the things and whatever? But yeah, I appreciate that. So
Mhm.
it almost sounds like that's what creates alignment between the reader and the
Mhm.
stories. You have that like weird character between who's kind of like,
Sure.
I know things, you know.
Yeah. Like Huck is totally like a Disney sidekick right now, and Tress is the princess on a
All day
mission.
long. All day long. Yeah, this is not even a question. Basically, she's Moana,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
And then
Huck's
we're
hey,
gonna
hey.
call Huck Hey Hey. I mean, it's got to be that, right? I mean, and
I don't
Hoy
know,
is basically what was the Rock's character?
Maui.
Maui.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there you
think
go.
That I think Maui is Huck, but he's just stuck in an animal form and he lost his scepter, so he can't turn back into a person.
Oh, absolutely. That's the reason why I'm going that route. Tree, me and you are on the same page here. Absolutely. That's the reason why I'm saying they're the same character, right? He lost his amazing
Mulan
powers.
and Mushu. Mulan and
Yes,
Mushu.
Huck is Mushu.
Oh,
Mushu.
Mulan and Mushu is
Mushu.
good. Oh shoot, I like that.
Oh,
I like that analogy better.
Mushu.
Oh, I love it. Yes, Mulan and
I get
Mushu.
Moana because she's on a boat on a mission.
Yeah.
But yes, Mushu,
but
great.
Mushu. Yeah, so if it was Moana and Mushu, hands down, done.
Yeah.
Wrap. Yeah, easy.
Mm-hmm.
Dishonor on you. Dishonor in your cow.
Dishonor on your cat that's trying to eat me.
That's right. Dishonor on your cat.
So we need a Moana
dare.
Tress crossover.
Woo.
Oh, please. Oh, please. If we can get a Moana Tress
So she's just
Mulan
crossover.
crossover. I need that fan fiction, people. Let's write it.
That's right. Be great.
Someone's writing it right now.
Makes the sorceress all happy and friendly again.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. But that's the reason why I like this. I mean, it resonates so well with probably all of us because of a certain age. You've read or heard stories kind of like this. And it just really it reminds you of like something like interesting. I mean, heck, I even see now the more I think about it, I can see some Lilo and Stitch in this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
a little bit everything.
A little bit of everything. So who's your favorite character?
Wait, we didn't do mugs today.
We did.
Yeah, we did. We did it earlier. Yeah, because remember I showed you my McLeese.
Oh,
I showed you my McLeese.
You guys didn't ask me about where my mug was. But this is
no. You
Stanley.
showed a different.
Oh.
You showed a Stanley
It
joint.
holds my art supplies.
Okay.
Fond of you.
You had to. You had to go and flex on them.
Okay.
Flex.
Yeah.
I know. Look at you. No, I did my little McLeese joint. I was like, I got the McLeese
Oh,
glass.
yes, I do remember you saying that, but for some reason I didn't like click in that. Oh, it's cup time. Sorry.
Oh.
And you guys didn't even question that I didn't have a cup to show with a
I thought you were
story?
just.
Well, you had like you had your bland.
Oh, no, sorry, I didn't even think about it.
Your bland prison mug.
No.
Let's see.
I'm sorry. My brain is all fried from being in the garage all day, baking my brains alive.
We can do a Disney Love Cup.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah,
that's a cute one.
Since we're talking about all the Disney things, yeah,
that's true. And we're on a
talking
mission to
Moana and
find
Mulan and all the interesting things there. So yes,
fun times.
I like it.
Cute.
So favorite character. Let's go back.
Okay. Can I go first this time?
I always let you go first, Tree. So please feel free, ladies first.
Last time I went third.
It's only because sometimes you seem like you're not ready to name a character, and so I don't like to put you on the spot. But
well,
if you're ready to go with somebody, please go.
Yes, this time I'm gonna pick Soleil.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Because she's standing up for the crew, and she seems like a little badass, and I'm terrified for what Captain Crow is gonna do to her.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pick her while I can.
Sure.
Because there's gonna be some repercussions.
Good deal.
But she's very sweet, and she was very sweet last week with like helping Tress like steer the boat and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good deal.
Who do you got, Alondo?
I'm gonna go Huck this time.
Nice.
Only because the little scared dude when the cat was coming after. Oh man, I was like, poor Huck. I mean, the vulnerability and everything. I was like, yeah, he's smart, intelligent, everything. I mean, he held the nuance. Of course, last episode he really showed like his flair for the theatrics, right?
Yeah.
Like literally the theatrics. But this time it's like he showed some vulnerability, and it made me really want to learn more about him, his backstory, etc. So he's my guy this week.
Yeah.
I want to pick the stormtrooper Anne, who can't shoot, can't hit anything.
movie too.
Can't
Yeah, she
hit
was
the side of a
great.
barn.
Nope.
And really got a lot of screen time in these chapters.
She did.
Yes,
I like
absolutely.
her. I do like
Yeah.
her. She's good.
Yeah,
I love that
absolutely.
she just like swears. Doesn't she have like different swears
Yeah.
every time?
Mhm.
And she kind of reminds me of Elaine a little bit.
More swears in the back end of a seagull, I think is what. That's what the phrase
But they're like
was.
really innocent swears. You know?
Right,
Yeah.
they're innocent swears.
Yeah.
So swears is not really a good term to use to describe exactly what she
No.
said.
Curses.
Curses.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It sounded like I don't know, slight I don't know, slight insults, but I don't know. It's just they're not really harmful or hurtful. But
No.
Yeah.
They're like Elaine swears. That's how I
Yeah.
think of them.
it's like
Like mother's
like
milk in a cup. Like
Mother's
how
milk
is
in a
that
cup.
insulting to anybody?
it's like being chastised by Mr. Belvedere. I'm sorry, I just dated myself by using that reference from the 80s.
Yeah. Mother's milk in a cup. So next time we're gonna be doing chapters 28 to 34. So that's the rest of this part. The rest of part 4. So through chapter 34. See where we go
Okay.
next. End up this part. So that's 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 37 chapters.
Gotcha.
Yay.
Yay.
By the way, you said
Um,
Mother's Milk, and all I can think of is that character from The Boys. That's his code name is
Homelander.
Mother's Milk.
Homelander.
Oh.
No, Mother's Milk. That's one of the characters from The Boys. The group that's actually the anti hero group is
Yeah.
that dude. His name is Mother's Milk.
I don't know. I watched like the first few episodes of The Boys, and then I just
I-
couldn't
it's-
anymore.
Tree, I cannot imagine you watching that show.
Right? No, not for me.
It's a bit
That
much.
does
There
not
was a-
seem like a Tree
It's a
show.
bit much.
I made it to the episode where the guy blew up and everything was like covered in blood and guts, and I was like, I'm done, thank you.
Oh, when he ran through his girlfriend.
That's the very
I don't
first.
remember.
That's the first episode.
Oh, that's
You're
the
talking
very
about-
first episode.
You're talking about when
Made
they
it to
blew up the
first
invisible guy.
episode.
When they flew.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
there was another time that someone else blew up.
They
and they
blew
were
up a
in
lot of
room.
people.
It actually happens a lot.
Yeah.
There's like a
it
lady
was
that blows
one
in people's
specific that I
heads.
was
There's a
like-
guy that went through, shrinks down and goes into people and blows them
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
there's that
I
one.
think I'm done with
That was
this
like
now.
that wasn't the first season though. That was.
There's multiple seasons. I mean, and then of
Yeah.
course unfortunately I read the comic book, so it's like really hard for me to keep those two things straight.
I'd probably do better with the comic books actually, because like
No, you won't.
no, but I really like the Walking Dead comic
No, you
books, and they're super gory. I don't mind gore if it's like illustrated for some reason.
Did you read the episode the book where Glenn got killed?
I've read the
Walking
entire series.
Oh, you read the entire series and you were
Yes.
okay with okay, if you were okay with the violence in that, then you're good for the
Yeah, that's what
violence
I'm saying.
in-
I'm better that way. Because
Oh,
I can like
okay.
be prepared for it, and I can kind of like if I see it, I'm like and then I close it, and then I'd be like kind of look again.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
instead
because
of
I
like
remember
being
when
on a
that-
screen, and it's just like
Uh-huh.
it's just like, and it's so real, you know.
Right. Gotcha.
So-
Because I remember when those issues came out and people were like just aghast. At,
Oh
like,
yeah, it was bad,
were like,
and it was like a
"Ugh."
full page.
Oh yeah, when he beat Glenn with Lucille,
Yeah,
ugh, it was rough.
yeah,
Luckily it was black and white though, it wasn't in color.
Yeah,
Because
that
that would have made it
helps.
worse,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like Invincible, which is also by Robert Kirkman, very, very violent. So
Mhm.
people who are watching the show on
Yeah.
Amazon are like, this is a really violent. I was like, the comic book is like as bad, possibly worse in a lot of
and I was
instances.
able to watch Invincible, and yes, it was gory, but because it's cartoon, it doesn't like get me as bad.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. It's just like the live action gore sometimes is just too much for me.
Yeah, that sometimes can be a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've watched Invincible? You've been keeping up with it?
I believe I watched all of the first and second seasons.
Okay, good deal.
I don't know if there's another season out.
Yeah, there's season 3. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
but
you
yeah,
probably haven't
I
watched
didn't know
season
you were
3.
into that. So now I know if you ever want to talk about that. I read that comic book series cover to cover. Have it read. I reread it all the time. Love that series. So yeah,
Okay.
another thing you and I have in common.
All right.
Hooray! Cartoon gore.
Yay.
Cartoon gore. Exactly.
Awesome.
It's like
Well,
the Garfield serial killer murders.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just made that up, by the way. People don't look that up on,
Sound
on the
good.
internet.
Say
Don't look it up.
comments,
I just
Alonzo,
made it
I
up.
believe you.
Please don't.
All right. Well, how we can found is at thecosmereads.com. It's a website with behind links to all sorts of cool stuff like Patreon and merchandise, and Discord, and social medias, and all that fun stuff. So go do all that cool stuff. Like, subscribe. I have to say that every week. You know the
Alan,
deal.
by the way, I think we should maybe steal a page from someone else's book. If we have Patreon members out there, I would love to field their questions.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
We can do
I
that.
would love
definitely do
that. So if I know I'm going off script here, but if Patreon
If
people want to reach
you're
out to us and ask some
Patreon
questions, or
just write message in Patreon. I get
Yeah.
emails when you do that, so I will get that
Yeah.
I
immediately.
would, yeah,
Or just like random
And-
comments about stuff we talked
I would
about. Even
love
share
to
with us.
hear
'Cause that'd be
y'all
cool.
on all the things. Yes.
Yeah, because we have like
Yeah.
the live YouTube chat and we have like those buddies, and I love seeing them live, right? But we also have
Mhm.
people that listen not live,
On
So,
Sure.
podcast. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
yeah,
Cool.
it'd be cool.
Yeah, but I would love to hear from anybody out there supporting us because, again, we do this out of passion, but
Mhm.
I would love to just, hear more from you guys. So,
yeah, me too.
Definitely.
yeah.
As long as it's nice.
That could be me too. That's fine.
If it's mean, direct it to me. I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Okay. You can be mean to Alan and Alando, but I'm
Yes. Be mean at alando.com.
Yeah, it'd be mean to me.
I
I
can't
don't care.
take it. I'm a delicate flower.
Like, literally, that's actually my website, too. I have a website, alando.com. Be mean at me there.
Yeah.
I'll handle
There
it.
you go. Yeah, I'm used to it. I have thick skin. So, anyways, yeah, do all the good stuff, and that's all I got for this week. So, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for watching the Cosmere Reads.
God stinks, God stay fresh. God stinks, God stay fresh.